Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is OhSheReads, and this is Teddy. Let's see. We got playback. Oh, y'all, how is there a commercial in the beginning of my live? There we go. We are live. I've got playback. Hold on. Hold on. Just want to make sure this is working. Can you guys see me? Okay, Julia's here. Hey, Julia. Y'all see me? Okay. I'm hoping that you guys can see me. And I'm going to get started with this live. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but my internet has been kind of spotty. I think because we had kind of a big storm, I want to say some point last week. I can't remember the exact day, but because of the storm, things have been a little shaky since then. But I have these two books in my hands for a reason. But this is basically for y'all to watch me force myself to pick a summer TBR. The first day of summer was technically last Friday, the 21st. So we are officially in summer now. So I figured this is a good time to film this video or to do this live. So the two books I have in my hand, one I've already read because I did attempt to do a weekend reading vlog. So I'll be editing that so you guys can check that out soon. But I did accomplish reading this book this weekend. And this is Something Real by Heather Demetrios. And I think I'm going to give it 5 stars. Okay, 4. I'll give it 4 stars. 5 is usually what I say for like extraordinary. 4 stars. It was a solid 4-star read. This book was about a girl who was part of a reality TV family. And, you know, it didn't, I thought when I got this book, I've had this book for years, by the way. I bought it off of Book Outlet years ago, and I just now picked it up. And when I first bought it and read the synopsis, I thought it would give me, you know, Keeping Up with the Kardashian vibes. It actually didn't. It was a little bit more sinister than that. This actually gave me like John and Kate +8 vibes. Does anyone remember that reality television show? It was like on TLC or something, like Lifetime or TLC. I can't remember which channel. And it was called John and Kate +8. And it was this Asian man and his Caucasian wife, and they had these miracle, well, they had 2 kids, 2 daughters, and then they had this like miracle sextuplets. Is that what they call it when it's 6 babies? And they survived, and so then they gave them this reality television show. And at first it all seemed all fun and family friendly, and then as the seasons went on, John and Kate were fighting, and it was just horrible and hard to watch, like this family just kind of implode before our very eyes. It got very toxic, and John and Kate ended up divorcing, and like it was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. But this book gave me those vibes so hardcore. And it brought up a lot of really great points about child labor and child labor laws, and how these children who are minors on these reality TV shows don't really have a choice, and they don't really have a voice, and their parents kind of force them to be on this platform, and everything that they do is filmed in their cameras in their homes, and they have no safe place. So our main character in this book, her name is Bonnie. It's so funny the way the book is written, because all the names of all the kids have like trademark at the corner, because they are a brand. They're not just a person. They're literally a brand. So we start off the book with Bonnie living a normal life. She's going by, I want to say Chloe now. She changed her name, I want to say, to Chloe. Yes, she changed her name to Chloe. She's in high school. She's a senior in high school. She's living a normal life. She has friends. No one in her life, in terms of her friends, knows about her background, knows that she was on this reality television show with her family for years. The show has been off the air for 4 years now, and you kind of find out pretty quickly in the beginning of the book why the show went off the air, and it was something that happened with Bonnie and something very traumatic. So trigger warning for depression and suicide, major trigger warnings, okay? So something happened with Bonnie, and it was so traumatic that it was a scandal with her father, right? I'm trying to figure out how to do this without giving spoilers. So the family is basically made up of Bonnie's mom, her dad, and she has, I want to say 15, how many siblings are there? I cannot remember, which is bad. They call them like the dozen or something like that. 12 siblings, I think. 12 siblings, and not all of them are biological. So Bonnie is her mother's actual biological child. Her mother carried her. Then there are the twins. A brother who Bonnie is really close with, Bonnie/Chloe, and then his sister, his twin sister, and they were born by surrogate. So her parents' DNA, but another woman carried them. Then you have all the other kids who are all adopted and all have all these different nationalities. You have these three triplet girls. I want to say they're from either Vietnam or China. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But three triplet little girls. Then you have these 2 boys, and they didn't give descriptions, but based off of their names, I think they are Black or African-American from the foster care system in the United States. Then they have a little boy from Russia. I mean, they just have like, think Brad and Angelina times a million, right? With all of their international kids. So they were all on TV. It got very toxic, and the father caused this huge scandal, and Bonnie's reactions to the scandal was so bad that the show was forced to just end. So she's living a normal life. Long story short, she comes home from school and finds out that the show is back on. She literally comes home to cameras in her house, her mom looking guilty. Her parents are now divorced. Her mom is now remarried to this random guy. So now we have the stepfather figure in the picture. I mean, this book was just insane. And I will say that while I was reading it, I had such bad anxiety, you guys, because Heather Demetrios did such an amazing job of really putting us in, I'm going to call her Chloe from now on because that's her chosen name, putting us in Chloe's shoes and how she felt, and how Bonnie was this weird character that was like separate from her and this trademarked and this brand, and it wasn't really who she was, and all of her trauma. And even after all of the therapy and the medications and everything she'd been through, she was still deeply, deeply traumatized and wounded by this experience. Like I said, it really brings up great points about child labor laws and how children are exploited in the entertainment industry and in these reality TV shows, and how a lot of parents only seem to care about money and fame and do not care about the well-being of their children. I mean, it was really intense. It was a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, but it was basically following Chloe along in her fight to get her power back and her autonomy back. And there's a lot of tension because she is a senior and she is months away from being 18, so she's going to be an adult and she'll have a choice. But then it's this push and pull, this love and hate relationship with her mother, her father, who pretty much abandoned them 4 years ago. She hasn't spoken to him in 4 years, her biological father, after the scandal. This new stepfather who's clearly only there for the fame. I mean, it's just insane. I recommend this. If you have not read it, I read it in one sitting. That's how captivated I was. 4 stars. So good. Moving on. I didn't mean to spend so much time talking about it, but I think it deserved that. The next book that I've chosen is called 5 Summers by Una LaMarche, and this is another book that I've had for a while. And this book basically follows, Teddy's over here. What else is new? 4 friends, and they're 4 friends and their journey through like going to the summer camp. And they meet there when they're 10, and then they go there up until they're 14, and then they stop going. And that last day of camp, like a lot of kind of like dramatic things happen with each of the girls. And then they don't go back for years and years. And then the book starts off with them like coming back at this reunion at camp, and like secrets being revealed and all this other stuff, you know. And the reason I picked this book is because, first of all, it's called 5 Summers, and we're in summer, so that's a no-brainer. Also because it gave me like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants vibes, you know, like a sisterhood of girls who meet and bond, and then it follows them throughout the years and that kind of vibe. I love Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, so that was a huge reason I picked this up. And then it also gave me the vibes of this other movie, and maybe you guys can help me out in the comments like you always do, but it's this movie that came out a long time ago. I want to say it was in the 80s, and Julia Roberts was in it, a young Julia Roberts, and it followed a young Rosie O'Donnell. Yes, it was Rosie O'Donnell, Julia Roberts, and some other actresses I can't remember, but they were like these best friends, and it followed them. I don't know if it was like, I feel like it was summertime, or it was like summer after high school or something like that, and all of these like really crazy things happened, and it was very poignant and moving and very coming of age. Can't remember the name of the film, but maybe one of you guys have watched it before. But I just got strong vibes from that, and I love like sisterhood books. I love books about friendships, especially female friendships. I'm such a sucker for them, and yeah, I thought this would be perfect. I'm literally on page 1, so I can't really tell you anything about this yet. So there's 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to choose 8 more books from this shelf, and then you guys can join me not tomorrow night because I have to work late, but Wednesday night around this time. I'll do a part 2, and I'll choose 10 books from the bookshelves in my room. So I want to have 20 books total for my summer TBR. So we got 8 books to go from these shelves. So let's see. FYI, this, oh, that's right. You guys finally get to see my bookshelves all beautiful and arranged. So if any of y'all watched my, watch me organize my bookshelves live that happened that last week, then you kind of saw, I kind of cut it off after an hour, but I'm really happy with my results. So I'll just go through these shelves really quickly. Now, like I said, I do not tend to organize my shelves by like alphabetically, I guess. I don't do the rainbow shelves, and I don't do the alphabetical shelves. I'm an intuitive bookshelf organizer. So I follow my intuition. I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's just how I do it. So this shelf up here has fantasy. So we've got Renee Ahdieh books up here. I've got 4 of those. Then I've got a Leela Sales book right here. It's a contemporary. It's kind of out of place. It probably belongs on my contemporary shelf, but we will leave it there for now. Then I have more fantasy. I have the Kira Cass books I own. Then we've got contemporary with most of my Rainbow Rowell collection up here until here. Then the contemporary, well, Rainbow Rowell has like 1 fantasy with Carry On, but mostly contemporary. Then we have back to fantasy with the Bone season of what I have of that series. Then I have the Bear and the Nightingale series, which is complete. The Queen of the Tearling series, which is complete. Why am I doing a bookshelf tour? Let's not do that. Okay, this shelf is historical. This shelf is more fantasy, but it's like darker fantasy. This shelf is all of my childhood favorites. And then this bottom shelf is contemporary. So a bunch of like summery, light contemporaries. And then the second half down here is like going into the darker contemporaries, like the more serious contemporaries. This is same thing as, so this is childhood. This is more fantasy and science fiction sprinkled in, but like more darker. And then up here, I have more fantasy, but with a lot of dystopian thrown in and a little bit of sci-fi. This is my nonfiction shelf. And then this is my random new adult section. Up here, I have like my big books. So like big science fiction books, Brandon Sanderson, which I don't know if I'll ever read, more serious like adult books as well sprinkled in. And then I have like a little tiny section of like fairy tale retellings and fairy tale-esque books in the corner. And then down there, right here, I have all of my new adult books, and those are all the books that I'm going to give away. And then I have my big copy of Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, an African folktale. So there we go. Very quick bookshelf tour. Now, on to picking the books. Okay, so this book right here I've been wanting to read for a long time. And I've been wanting to read it in the summer for a long time. It's called Wild Awake by Hilary T. Smith. This is a debut novel So this came out a couple years back. Let's see, 2013. So it's been a while. Things you earnestly believe will happen while your parents are away. There's a whole list. Bear with me. You'll remember to water the azaleas. You will take detailed, accurate messages. You will call your older brother, Denny, if even the slightest thing goes wrong. You and your best friend / bandmate, Lucas, will win Battle of the Bands. Amid the thrill of victory, Lucas will finally realize you are the girl of his dreams. Things that actually happen. A stranger calls who says he knew your sister. He says he has her stuff. What stuff? Her stuff. You tell him your parents won't be able to. Suki died 5 years ago. Can't he? You pick up a pen. You scribble down the address. You get on your bike and go. Things get a little crazy after that. Asterisk. Also, you fall in love, but not with Lucas. Both exhilarating and wrenching, Hilary T. Smith's debut novel captures the messy glory of being alive as 17-year-old Curie Bird discovers love, loss, chaos, and murder woven into a summer of music, madness, piercing heartbreak, and intoxicating joy. So this is a young adult. If anyone has read this, let me know. I've been dying to read this for so many years, and I've just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. This is the time. I kind of want to read this now before I read 5 Summers, but I'm going to try to contain myself. Okay. 7 books to go, people. Ooh, I want to include at least one series in this, but most of my series are in my bedroom, so I might have to save that for episode 2 on Wednesday evening. This is tough, y'all, because my go-to is always like Morgan Matson, honestly, and I've read all the Morgan Matson books on my shelf, and I'm just very sad right now because I don't have any Morgan Matson to choose from. Okay, this is bothering me. I'm going to move this Layla Sales novel to join the other one. This song will save your life. Just put them together. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, Teddy. I didn't mean to step on you. Let's see. Okay, let me look on this side. Ooh, sneeze. I want to get like a more serious contemporary. Summer just screams contemporary, but I also like to read fantasy in the summer. Yes, do you want to be in the video? So I'm not sure, you guys. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was just going to know, and I don't. Okay, let me get serious about this. We have, you guys see me? Yes, good. Okay, I know my third one. I seem to be gravitating towards young adult, and I think it's because it's all on my my fun summer shelf. Fun summer shelf. I need to branch out. But anyway, third pick is Trouble, a novel by Non Pratt. Such an interesting name, Non. So this one's about teen pregnancy, which I've written a young adult novel about teen pregnancy, so I always kind of am intrigued by how other authors handle it in their young adult books. This one says on the back, you have Aaron with dialogue, and then you have Hannah with dialogue. Aaron, can I have a ginger snap? She pushes the packet toward me and then waggles her fingers for one, still face down on the tablecloth. Anything else, I ask, wondering if she needs to top off her milk. A dad for my baby, she says with a laugh. Yikes. Hannah, my joke wasn't exactly funny, you think? So I don't think his silence is rude as I sit up and down the dregs of my milk. It's only when I start to stand, turning to offer him another drink, that I realize he's watching me. Me, he says. You what? I say, caught somewhere between sitting and standing. I could do it if you wanted. I sit down with a thump. You could say I was the father. What in the world is going on? Hannah is 15. Hannah is pregnant. Hannah could really use a friend right now. Aaron is the new kid. Aaron is trying to escape his past. He's not succeeding. Aaron could also really use a friend right now. Hannah, meet Aaron. Aaron, Hannah. In a year marked by loss, regret, and hope, the two will discover a simple truth. Nothing compares to finding your first true best friend. That shocked me, but okay. Okay, so we have 4 books now. We are 4 books strong. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. It's tough. It's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be, y'all. Trying to see what book is just calling to me. I'm just drawn to. So this is a historical. It's called The Feast of Roses. And it's by Indu Sundaresan. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. And apparently this author also wrote The 12th Wife. So it says, there is no question that Sundaresan is a gifted storyteller with an obvious passion for history. That was blurred by USA Today. Beautiful cover. So this is an adult book, it looks like. There's Indu Sundaresan right there. She was born and raised in India and came to the United States for graduate school. She lives in Bellevue, Washington. Just a little bit about the author for those that are unfamiliar. So the book list also blurbs, weaving another rich historical tapestry, Sundaresan colors the life of a fascinating woman whose female wiles inspired the Taj Mahal. Wow, okay. So the love story of Emperor Jahangir and Merunisa begun in the critically praised debut novel. Okay, is this the second book? I think this is the second book. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Oh, I'm so upset. Okay, so it looks like this, it started in The 12th Wife and it continues in this book. Well, okay, so now clearly I have to get The 12th Wife. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. This book was really called to me, you guys. I need to go pick up The 12th Wife. That was a shame. But that one right on back. Oh, that's what happens when you buy books that are like you're drawn to off of Book Outlet and don't realize that it's a second book. Alrighty. Next. I don't really feel anything from this shelf. That was the only book I was really feeling. Not really feeling anything from this shelf. Not really feeling too much of the nonfiction shelf either. Let me turn over here. A lot of these books I've read on these two. I could always pick a kid's book, but I always feel like that's a cop-out because I always love reading children's fiction. Oh my goodness, I just realized that there are a bunch of Sandhya Menon books I haven't read. I've only read When Dimple Met Rishi, and there are 2 others that I feel need to be read. I just don't know if I want to read them all right now. I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick this one. So this is actually a companion novel to When Dimple Met Rishi, which I really enjoyed, which was about girls in tech and Indian girls in tech, and please go read. So this is There's Something About Sweety. Becky Albertalli blurbed, I'm head over heels for this charming, funny, romantic, life-affirming book. Okay. blurred by a whole bunch of other people: Stephanie Perkins, Melissa De La Cruz, Becky Apatali. Okay. Ashish Patel didn't know love could be so ... sucky. After he's dumped by his ex-girlfriend, his mojo goes AWOL. Even worse, his parents are annoyingly, smugly confident they can find him a better match. So in a moment of weakness, Ash challenges them to set him up. The Patels insist that Ashish date an Indian-American girl under contract. Per subclause 1A, he'll be taking his date on fun excursions like visiting the Hindu temple and his eccentric Gita auntie. Kill him now. How is this ever going to work? Sweety Nair is many things. A formidable track athlete who can outrun most people in California, a loyal friend, a shower singing champion. Oh, and she's also fat. To Sweety's traditional parents, this last detail is a kiss of death. Sweety loves her parents, but she's so tired of being told she's lacking because she's fat. She decides it's time to kick off the sassy Sweety project, where she'll show the world and herself what she's really made of. Ashish and Sweety both have something to prove, but with each date, they realize there's an unexpected magic growing between them. Can they find their true selves without losing each other? I like it. I like it. But now I need something more than young adult, because I'm going to get bored. I know myself. Let's see. I need something that's going to be very dramatic and juicy at the same time. This book is kind of calling to me. It's really, really big, so I'm a little apprehensive about this, y'all. But I don't know. It's big, but it's a paperback, and for some reason, big paperbacks I can fly through. This is The Tea Rose by Jennifer Donnelly. I have been wanting to read this book for a really long time now, and it is a historical, and it's basically about this badass woman who overcomes all these odds and all these obstacles. So East London, 1888. So let's see. Fiona Finnegan is a worker in a tea factory. She hopes to own a shop one day, together with her lifelong love, Joe Bristow, a costermonger's son, and they have nothing but their faith in each other. They struggle, save, and sacrifice to achieve their dreams. But Fiona's life is shattered when the actions of a dark and brutal man take from her nearly everything and everyone she holds dear. Fearing her own death, she is forced to flee London for New York. There, her indomitable spirit propels her rise from a modest West Side shopfront to the top of Manhattan's tea trade. But Fiona's old ghosts do not rest quietly, and to silence them, she must venture back to the London of her childhood, where a deadly confrontation with her past becomes the key to her future. This is it. This is it. This is it. Okay, how many books I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if I can find 4 more books out of this list, y'all, I'm going to be so happy. You don't even know, because I'm starting to doubt these shelves. What's going on in the chat? Hey, y'all. Hey, everyone that's joined since the last time I said hey. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Teddy. I am thinking. So many books, so little time. Yes. Okay. The Crane Wife by Patrick Ness. I have been wanting to read. This is another book I've been wanting to read for a while. So this is perfect timing, and it's smaller. So after reading all of these like good sized book and then that giant book, I think this would be a good way for me to not just completely lose it. I want to say, let's see. I wonder if this has like magical realism in it. When George and his daughter, with their seemingly ordinary quirks and heartbreaks, are befriended by an enigmatic woman, art, beauty, and myth become living forces in their lives. This poignant novel echoes with the longings and sorrows of the ages. But what comes as a most delightful surprise is the humor and humanity that Patrick Ness brings to this story. And this was blurbed by Elwyn Ivy, author of The Snow Child, another book that's on my shelf, but it's called The Snow Child. I'm not going to read it in summer. Sounds silly, but it's the truth. So George Duncan is an American living and working in London. At 48, he is the owner of a small print shop, divorced and lonelier than he realizes. But one night, he is awoken by an astonishing sound, a terrific keening coming from somewhere in his garden. When he investigates, he finds a great white crane, a bird taller than even himself. It has been shot through the wing with an arrow. Moved more than he can say, George struggles to take out the arrow from the bird's wing, saving its life before it flies away into the night sky. The next morning, a shaken George tries to go about his daily life, retreating to the back of his store and making cuttings from discarded books, a harmless personal hobby, when through the front door of the shop, a woman walks in. Her name is Kumiko, and she asks George to help her with her own artwork, cuttings made from what look like the most delicate slices of feathers. George is dumbstruck by her beauty, of course, and her enigmatic nature, and begins to fall desperately in love with her. She seems to hold the potential to change his entire life. Is this the whole book? You know, sometimes you read The Dust Jacket and you're like, do I need to read this book? She seems to hold the potential to change his entire life if he could only get her to reveal the secret of who she is and why she has come to him. She the crane. Do I need to read this? Did I just guess the end? Witty, magical, and romantic, The Crane Wife is a story of passion and sacrifice that resonates on the level of dream and myth, a novel that celebrates the creative imagination and the disruptive power of love. I feel like this book is going to be predictable, but the writing and the lyricism of the writing and the prose and all that stuff is going to make up for it. I will bet you $1 million I'm right, y'all. But it's okay. I'll add it to the pile. So we got 7. Woo! 3 more. 3 more. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to add a book that I've been currently reading for months now that I need to finish, and I really want to finish, and this is Rosebloom by Louisa May Alcott, one of my favorites from childhood, and this is my first time rereading it since I was a kid, and I started in early this year, I want to say February or so, and I just put it down. I was writing right at that time, and I put it down for writing, and I'm picking it back up. There we go. Number 8. 2 to go. 2 to go. Huh. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pick a light and fluffy book. Because you need those. You need those light and fluffy, like, silly books that are just going to get you through. You know, they're just going to get you through. This one is Once Upon a Prince by Rachel Hawke. I feel like I So once upon, okay, just making sure that I didn't pick up a second book like what happened before. Still mad about that. Once Upon a Prince, the first novel in the Royal Wedding series by best-selling author Rachel Hawke, treats you to a modern-day fairy tale. Susanna Truitt never dreamed of a great romance or being treated like a princess, just to marry the man she never dreamed of that. She just only dreamed to marry the man she has loved for 12 years. But life isn't going according to plan. When her high school sweetheart turned Marine officer breaks up instead of proposing, Susanna scrambles to rebuild her life. Never wait for a ring, ladies and gentlemen. I understand that there are special circumstances, but never wait for a ring. There's my gem of the day. The last thing Prince Nathaniel expects to find on his American holiday to St. Simon's Island is the queen of his heart. Let me guess, it's Susanna. A prince has duties, and his family's tense political situation has chosen his bride for him. When Prince Nathaniel comes to Susanna's aid under the fabled lover's oak, he's blindsided by love. Their lives are worlds apart. He is a royal prince. She's an ordinary girl. But everything changes when Susanna receives an invitation to Nathaniel's coronation. It's the ultimate choice. His kingdom or her heart. God's will or their own. So dramatic. But this gives me the Prince and Me vibes. If you've never seen that movie, it was really good, from the 90s. Go check it out. It also gives me Meghan Markle and Prince Harry vibes. Am I allowed to say that? Kind of does. All right. 9. Oh my gosh, I have to keep counting because I just... Okay. I just need one more book, and it just seems so hard. These shelves are brutal, man. I think it's because I've read so many of these already. Isn't that right, Ted? Isn't that right? All right. One more book. One more book. One more book. Teddy right here. Trying to be in the video as always. Hi, sir. One more book. One more book. One more book. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to get it from the shelf, you guys. Nothing is really calling to me right now. I'm not feeling anything. A part of me just wants to add a Sarah Dessen book to this list because it just gives me like classic quintessential summer reading. But I honestly feel like I have a lot of young adult novels on the list, and I do not want to get bored because after I've read only so many young adult novels, I do get bored. Let's see. What is this? Okay. Sadie Smith, Donna Tartt, C.H. White. Yes. Yes. I've been wanting to read this forever. And I've tried several times, but I just haven't been in the mood. The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, okay? This is it. This is the 10th and final book. It's a debut. And it says, after 4 harrowing years in the Western Front, Tom Sherborne returns to Australia and takes a job as the lighthouse keeper on Janus Rock, nearly half a day's journey from the coast. To this isolated island where the supply boat comes once a season and shore leaves are granted every other year at best, Tom brings a young, bold, and loving wife, Isabel. Years later, after 2 miscarriages and 1 stillbirth, the grieving Isabel hears a baby's cry on the wind. A boat has washed up on shore carrying a dead man and his living baby, or a living baby. Let's not assume it's his, and a living baby. Tom, whose records as a lighthouse keeper are meticulous and whose moral principles have withstood a horrific war, wants to report the man and infant immediately. But Isabel has taken the tiny baby to her breast. Against Tom's judgment, they claim her as their own and name her Lucy. First mistake. When she is 2, Tom and Isabel return to the mainland and are reminded that there are other people in the world. Their choice has devastated one of them. Oh no, they don't steal somebody's baby. Oh. I know that was a little dramatic, but that's just how I felt in the moment. M.L. Stedman's mesmerizing, beautifully written novel seduces us into accommodating Isabel's decision to keep this gift from God, same quotation marks in here, don't come for me, and we are swept into a story about extraordinarily compelling characters seeking to find their North Star in a world where there is no right answer, where justice for one person is another's tragic loss. The Light Between Oceans is exquisite and unforgettable, a deeply, deeply moving novel. Yes. This is it. Oh my God, they stole someone's baby. I feel like this book is really gonna make me think, because as I get older, and especially now, like the reality of me having a child is very real just because of my age. And like I have a lot of friends who are having children. Whew, that's tough. That is really tough. That is really tough. I don't know, y'all. That's a hard one. Oh, okay. I can't think about it too much. Okay, let me see if I can get the rest of these books before knocking you guys without knocking you guys over, so you guys can see everything. Try to arrange it into some semblance of like, oh, I already dropped one. Failed there. I'm back. Okay. In no particular order, I'm just gonna go through them again, and then hold them up. Okay, no particular order. So we have Wild Awake by Hilary T. Smith. This is a debut novel, young adult, coming of age type stuff. 5 Summers by Una LaMarche, coming of age type stuff. This one I've already read, Something Real by Heather Demetrios. Highly recommend, 4 stars, go read it. Then we have a book I need to finish. This is Rosebloom by Louisa May Alcott. I already read this, childhood fave, so good, rereading. Then we have adult novel by Patrick Ness, The Crane Wife. Sounds predictable, but hopefully it's not, / hopefully the prose / hopefully the lyricism will save this for me. We'll see. Then we got the much needed light, fluffy fairy tale romance cookie cutter book, Once Upon a Prince by Rachel Howick. Hopefully it's at least a solid 3 stars. We got Meghan Markle and Harry vibes. We've got The Prince and Me vibes. Great movie again. Go check it out. Then we've got adult novel, The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. Sounds heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, lots of moral stuff in here. Probably going to make me really think way too much about too many things. Then we've got adult book, historical, The Tea Rose, The Tea Rose by Jennifer Donnelly. Sounds like a badass female main protagonist that goes through a lot. It's really independent, strong, amazing, facing a lot of stuff, realizing things. Am I right? Ooh. Oh my gosh, you guys, look what's going on. Then we got Trouble by Non Pratt. Cool name for the author. Also a young adult, but has to do with teen pregnancy. Makes a friend. He wants to be the baby daddy. Still don't know how that's going to work out, but okay, we'll go with it. Whew. And finally, we have There's Something About Sweety, Sandhya Menon, companion to When Dimple Met Rishi, which was great. Really like books that feature girls of, bigger sizes. She comes out flat out and says she's fat. That is a reality for a lot of young girls, being bigger, fat, whatever you want to call it, curvy, plus size. And that does not take away from your value as a person, your ability to like make, I don't know, just like you're still a human being. Okay? Worthy of love and all the good things in life. So still worthy to see yourself in a young adult novel and to be your heroine of your own story. You know, all that inspirational stuff. All right, so here it is, guys. See it? It looks so pretty from right here. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job holding this up. Okay, all right, so part one. I want 20 books in this TBR. You just watched me choose 8, 10, and yeah, join me on Wednesday time or so for part 2, where I choose 10 more from the bookshelves in my bedroom. So signing out. Thanks so much for joining me on this live. Sorry I didn't get a chance to really read the comments. I never do with this type of setup, so I do apologize for that. But I will try to read them afterwards and answer in the actual comment section of this video. All right, okay. Bye, guys. Mwah. See you later.